The Smash roster is one of my favourite parts of the entire Smash series, with the inclusions of new fighters every installment. Never knowing who's going to make it into Smash 6, some fighters don't make it in, either being deconfirmed from meme costumes, assist trophies, or other fighters from a third-party developer taking the spot, as well as a few other reasons. Welcome to A New Foes Appear, where we talk about ideas for fighters that could possibly happen in Smash 6, if not the future. I'm your host BB8 from BB8's House. As always, let's get into it. Up next.
So far, so good. Hey, that's...
That blue hedgehog again, of all places.
I found you, Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh? You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you eat those words.
There's no time to play games. You won't even get the chance.
That's right. Shadow the Hedgehog from the Sonic franchise is who we're going to talk about today. You're probably wondering, BB8, didn't you already say in A New Foes Appear, Dr. Robotnik, that you wouldn't talk about another Sonic character again? I did, but that was back in December of 2020. But at the end of the day, fairly recently, I was triggered to talk about Shadow. After bringing him up in a few of my recent videos, I thought, why not do A New Foes Appeared for Shadow? Because Shadow is actually one of my favourite Sonic characters of all time. So it might actually be reasonable to do A New Foes Appeared episode for him. And I wasn't triggered to talk about just Shadow. I was also triggered to talk about 3 other Sonic characters. Like, I'm not saying who for now, but I will confirm who they are at a later date. And without further ado, let's get into Shadow's moveset, shall we? So for the moveset, and I probably bet a lot of you are wondering, couldn't have Shadow just been an Echo Fighter for Sonic? Well, that could work, but Shadow the Hedgehog does have a few moves that Sonic doesn't. So I do think taking a few moves from the games that Shadow has but Sonic does not might be able to create a reasonable moveset for Shadow. Yeah, taking inspiration from Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehog. So for neutral B being homing attack, Shadow curls up into a ball while briefly ascending and then homes in on the nearest opponent to ram into them in his ball form. Then, pressing the special button will execute the move earlier, otherwise the move is chargeable for a moment. For the side special, being Motorcycle, I know this sounds a bit different to Sonic, but I thought Shadow riding a motorcycle, it sounds interesting, so why not use it in the moveset? Tails, I gave his aeroplane for his final smash, so I thought for his side special, why not go motorcycle? So for the motorcycle, all you have to do really is press B and hold the left analog stick either left or right at the same time. Shadow would ride his motorcycle around. It would be similar to Wario's side special in Steve's minecart, but the only difference is, to Wario and Steve, is that you don't have to keep holding B whilst riding it, until it either rams a few opponents or a wall. You can press B whilst riding the bike to fire the handgun at opponents, no matter what direction they are facing. Similar to how Shadow can fire bullets on the lethal highway level in Shadow the Hedgehog. His up special being Chaos Warp, Shadow pulls out the Chaos Emerald and uses it to warp from one spot to another in an instant, being the average teleport move. And for the down special being Black Tornado from Sonic Heroes. Shadow will jump into the air to spin a dashing in a circle, and this will create a wind funnel of black energy. Any opponent caught will be thrown into the air and fall down onto the ground. And for the final smash being Chaos Control, Shadow emits a powerful aura of reddish chaos energy. As he brings his arms and legs close to him for a moment, Shadow shouts Chaos Control, as he shouts a large screen engulfing a wave of chaos energy, engulfs the entire stage along with all the players in it. While the final smash goes on, all opponents, items and stage hazards are all incredibly slowed down, similar to Shadow's assist trophy ability in Brawl and Smash 4. Shadow, however, has complete control of his movement speed and can now utilize this time to rack up attacks and damage on defenseless opponents as their moves are slowed to a crawl. The Chaos Control lasts about 10 seconds, which gives Shadow time to dish out some damage, and after this time is up, energy slowly begins to make its way inward towards Shadow, which means those in close proximity of Shadow when the 10 seconds are finished may be stuck in this slow state for an extra couple of seconds as it retracts back to Shadow. Once an opponent is past the chaos energy wave, their moves or motions are returned to normal speed. For the alts and the Kirby Hat, Shadow's costumes would change his quills to represent one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, along with his form he takes once he uses them all. The ultimate being would just be a standard outfit, the blue, yellow, green, silver, turquoise and violet emeralds each being their own costume, and the final one being perfect life form, with the colours based on Super Shadow. And his Kirby Hat would just be Kirby getting a copy of a hat that resembles Shadow's quills, along with the copy ability of homing attack. And for the stage, I chose Wistopolis from Shadow the Hedgehog, which released in 2005. With Wistopolis being a large city that is left in ruins from the attacks of the Black Arms, with its roads piled with debris, ignited cars, traffic cones and barricade fences, while skyscrapers are left in various conditions, some knocked down whilst others remain intact. Throughout various points, laser bombardments can constantly rain down on the city, which could end up being stage hazards in Wistopolis. For the classic mode route, I'm calling it Rivalries, where Shadow faces off with characters that are rivals of a character that is a dark clone or anti-heroic counterpart or love rival. with the exception of round 6, where he faces off Sonic himself, who is enemies partners prior to round 6 at all times, but eventually becomes an ally for the final round. So the round 1, where Dark Pit's your ally, you're facing off Pit in Skyworld. Round 2, you team up with Wario, facing Mario in Peach's Castle. Round 3, with Wolf fighting Fox in Sector Z. Round 4, there isn't really like a Link anti-heroic counterpart, but I guess you could just use his alternate costume for that. Facing off Link with his Tunic of the Wilds. With round 5, you team up with Dark Samus fighting Samus on Friday Orpheum. And round 6, you're fighting off Sonic in Green Hill Zone. And the final boss, you team up with Sonic fighting Master Hat. For the music featured with Shadow will consist of music tracks from Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and Shadow the Hedgehog. For the victory poses, for the victory theme will be round clear from Shadow the Hedgehog, the defeat pose where Shadow is seen facing his back to the winner, arms crossed and scowling over his right shoulder. The victory pose is where Shadow slides on his hover shoes and says, "You didn't even put up a fight," before sliding to a halt and crossing his arms. The victory pose 2, as Shadow levitates slightly and holds a green Chaos Emerald in his hand while stating, "I am the ultimate life form." And victory pose 3, Shadow is seen climbing onto his motorcycle from Shadow the Hedgehog. He reeves it up and says, "You are finished," before driving off the screen. For the spirits, I picked Shadow the Hedgehog being the fighter spirit, Super Shadow, Black Doom, Gerald Robotnik, Maria Robotnik, Rouge the Bat, E123 Omega, Dr. Eggman, Mephiles the Dark, Silver the Hedgehog, Infinite, and Avatar from Sonic Forces. And now, for the part I've been looking forward to the entire video, the reveal trailer. The reveal trailer starts with Sonic and Samus exploring an abandoned lab inside the space colony as seen in Sonic Adventure 2, but different in this trailer. Samus presses a button which ends up playing an old audio recording of Gerald Robotnik talking about a certain project he had kept hidden for over 50 years. But obviously, with it being recorded 50 years ago, he wouldn't have hid it for that long, of course. This recording isn't taken from the games, but is a new original recording made for this reveal trailer. Samus then presses another button, which causes the capsule to rise. As the capsule rises, it shows a black hedgehog with red quills in stasis, as Sonic continues to explore the lab as he hears a blast with glass shattering. He runs back to Samus as fast as he could, but Samus wasn't there. Sonic just saw a smashed capsule just standing there. As Sonic looks around and sees Samus floating in deep space. As Gerald Robotnik's recording keeps playing, a close-up of shoes landing on the floor is shown. It then shows Sonic looking puzzled. And as the recording comes to an end, the camera flies up and the recording ends with the line Project Shadow. As the reveal screen splashes, the ultimate life form, Shadow. So guys, what did you think of Shadow the Hedgehog? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another New Foes Appeared episode like this one. The other 3 Sonic characters I have on the table at the moment, I will talk about at a later date. So I'll see you all in a future New Foes Appeared episode. BB8 out.